The story begins with Kim So-lei receiving a cat from Lee Ye-sun, the boy she's liked for years. He's allergic to felines, so he hands it over with a face that says, "Please take care of it." So-lei, convinced that it's just a cat, takes it home, gets ready to shower, and between steam and memories, recalls some kisses with that same Ye-sun from another time. What she doesn't imagine is that beneath her bed, a hand has just appeared. The cat climbs onto the mattress and boom turns into a person. This new someone looks in the mirror as if he were born 5 seconds ago, because literally, for him that's the case. And tries to understand why he has legs, hands, and that face. He snoops around the house like a baby in an adult's body. When So-lei comes out of the bathroom, he startles, changes back, and is once again a fluffy kitten. She talks to him like any regular pet, not suspecting she has a limited edition human right in front of her. As a cat, he meows, walks on all fours, and does everything a normal feline does. That's why So-lei sees nothing odd. She sets up a cushion for him to sleep on, but the feline prefers her bed. So-lei unceremoniously sets him down on the floor, and he, stubborn like a cat, insists on curling up close again. That same night, when she's fast asleep, the cat turns human again and watches her with a strange mix of curiosity, tenderness, and something that looks like love at first sight. He wanders through the apartment, finds the door, tries to go out. But the street noises scare him. He's not ready for the outside world. He decides to spend the first night with her, in silence. The next morning, So-lei goes to work and leaves the cat with her father, a kind, cheerful man who's thrilled to have company. "What's your name?" he coos at him, plays with him, and the cat who will soon learn is called Hong. Yo thinks to himself, "What a strange man." In a careless moment, he turns into a human, tries on So-lei's dad's glasses, touches objects without understanding what they're for. Suddenly, the father faints. Hong Yo, halfway between person and cat, drags him out to the street and calls an ambulance. When the officers arrive, he's a cat again in the blink of an eye and nobody understands a thing. So-lei rushes to the hospital and, seeing her father's girlfriend caring for him, gets a little jealous. She puts on a brave face and leaves. Meanwhile, the cat is lost in the city. Crying under a trash bin, with a heart-wrenching meow, he doesn't know the address of So-lei's place. He tries to ask for help from humans who don't understand him, so he turns into a person, desperate. Right at that moment, So-lei walks by. For Hong Yo, she's not just any girl. He feels an animal attraction and starts following her like a love-struck ghost. Midway through that discreet chase, So-lei gets a call from Ye-sun. Hong Yo, realizing that Guy is his favorite human's crush, switches back to his feline form. She picks him up, cuddles him, and half annoyed tells Ye-sun over the phone that she now loves the cat more than him, since he never wanted to be her boyfriend. When she hangs up, she squishes the kitty's cheeks. Something in those black eyes begins to bewitch her. Back home, the cat insists on the bed. He waits for So-lei to fall asleep, turns into a human, and discovers the pattern. When he's with her, his body changes. That's the clue that pushes him to stay and live with So-lei. Shortly after, So-lei's stepmother, Bansal, trying to score points, offers her an empty house. Her son's, which just happens to be across from the cafe where Ye-sun works. It's perfect for So-lei. She serves food to the cat, but he refuses it and starts showing some attitude. To annoy her a bit and get her attention, he jumps on the couch and makes a mess. From deep down, So-lei lets out a heartfelt, ungrateful. That same day, when So-lei returns, the cat has already turned human again and is spying on her from a distance, with eyes of a rookie in love. She forgets her phone at home, and Hong Yo, in ninja mode, slips it into her bag without her noticing. As soon as he does, he turns back into a cat and runs to wait for her. Without her, his little heart, cat or human, it doesn't matter, isn't happy. It starts to rain and, worried, he decides to take her an umbrella. He drops it. When he touches it, he turns into a cat again. He touches the umbrella again, he becomes human. And that's when he learns a new rule: if he touches something of So-lei's, he transforms. Soon after, he sees Ye-sun getting a bit too close to So-lei. He touches her forehead in one of those gestures that say, "Do you have a fever?" And Hong Yo's jealousy alarm goes off. For a cat, it's like watching someone else lay claim to his human. He pouts in a feline way. So-lei dries him with a towel, gives him milk, and decides to name him Meow. With a closer bond, Meow, Hong Yo brushes his tail across So-lei's face to make her forget the other guy. In his head, that logic is flawless. But suddenly the cat falls to the floor, ends up next to a puddle of milk, and is breathing poorly. So-lei panics, scoops him up, and rushes through the night to the vet. They treat him. She waits for hours. That wait marks a before and after. Her rejection of cats melts away. She begins to see something mysterious in those eyes. She feels a sort of magnet. Days later, she sees the cat walking along the rooftop and has a mini heart attack. She begs him not to go near the edge. He carries on as if nothing's wrong, and Soleil, fearing a broken paw, climbs up after him. When she gets up there, the cat is gone. He'd already come down without her noticing. She steps on an unstable ladder, slips, and Hong Yo turns into a human on the spot, catches her, and saves her life. Soleil, trembling, gets lost in those human eyes she has now seen twice. She apologizes without thinking. Her heart is beating like a drumline. She looks for the cat, looks for the guy, and finds neither. She goes inside and the kitty greets her as if nothing had happened. If it hadn't been for that guy, I would have died today, she admits. She needs to know who her prince rescuer is. That night, while sleeping, he stretches unintentionally and hits her. When he looks back, he's already a cat again. The next day, Soleil heads to the office. For Hong Yo, being left alone is punishment. He grabs her toothbrush, smells it, and dashes off following the scent like an emotional GPS. He finds her, she thanks him for saving her life, and seeing those bright eyes, cat or human, she shares her food. Overjoyed, he gets on the bus with her. Problem: cats don't pay fares. Soleil pays, sits him close by, and starts to notice that this weird guy, without knowing he's the same cat, behaves differently. He follows her, tries to take her favorite plush, arrives at the office behind her, and smacks his head, hard. He repeats that he saved her life, and Soleil no longer knows whether she's facing a madman or a poet. Back home, she discovers her toothbrush is missing, and a chill runs down her spine. To top it off, the little doll she gave the guy on the bus appears on the table. Translation: that guy came in here. She runs to Ye-sun's place to ask for help with the shadows in her apartment. Ye-sun inspects. It smells like a ghost. Soleil thinks maybe it's a creep. Someone sneezes under the bed. Hong Yo manages to transform in time, but he has to put up with Soleil and Ye-sun having their date in the living room. He, in cat form, rubs up against Ye-sun to bother him, knowing he's allergic. Soleil ends up putting him outside so she can continue her evening. From the window, Hong Yo meows and scratches while Soleil receives what looks like a bracelet. Ye-sun confesses it's actually a cat collar. Hong Yo is thrilled. It means belonging. The air gets heavy, looks do the talking, almost a kiss. And right then, Hong Yo, turned human, barges in. He freezes. Ye-sun asks who he is. Hong Yo blunt. Leave now. Ye-sun gets angry. You're no one to kick me out of my friend's house. Sparks are about to fly, but the phone rings. Bansal warns that her son has returned. Soleil quickly connects the dots and thinks that strange guy is her stepmother's son. Hong Yo jumps on the call and pretends to be that son. The act works perfectly. Ye-sun leaves. Hong Yo stays alone with Soleil. She's furious about his bad manners. She fires back that Ye-sun will keep coming over, and he, without a filter, he can't be your friend, friends don't kiss. The phrase hits her dead center. She feels like this stranger can read her soul. Then she remembers she misses her cat and searches for him all over the apartment. Cornered, Hong Yo decides to transform. She lifts him up with relief, while simultaneously wondering where that other guy went. The next morning, Hong Yo decides to experience life as a real human. He discovers that chewing with a plate, using cutlery, and getting dressed is an art. He chooses a giant trench coat because it looks elegant, and as soon as Soleil turns on the vacuum cleaner, he bolts as if an alien ship had arrived. Every everyday object seems bizarre. He sees a fish and his instinct kicks in. He takes it out of the aquarium and leaves it in the supermarket cart while Soleil watches in horror. She screams. He smiles like a mischievous kid. In the frozen section, the fish are his paradise. He grabs them all. At checkout, reality hits. He has no money and doesn't even know what a card is. Soleil pays and wonders exactly who this adorable extraterrestrial is. That afternoon, Ye-sun and a friend show up at the house with a kind of trap party to force Hong Yo to leave. He turns into a cat and escapes. Except for one detail. A drunk guest sees him as a human and, after a blink, as a cat. He thinks he's lost his mind and flees. Hong Yo peeks out the window and breathes. Safe for now. But his heart is noisy. He's in love with Soleil. He wants to kiss her, caress her. As a human, he can't maintain the form for long. He turns back into a cat and stares at Soleil with devotion. She, who at first only tolerated him, starts to find him beautiful. And to top it off, Ye-sun draws close again, so Soleil ends up in a kind of strange love triangle. Two guys, and one of them is also a cat. To make matters worse, Bansal sets Soleil up on a blind date. Hong Yo is around too. They wait for their respective dates, glance at each other, and surprise, they're each other's date. They decide to spend the day at the fair. A swindler tries to scam them with the old shell game. But Hong Yo has feline sixth sense and guesses right every time. They win prizes. He hands them to Soleil with eyes that say, "Look for you," and her heart swells. Hearing about it, Ye-sun gets jealous. He tells Soleil there are people interested in adopting the cat and that someone will come to take him. Hong Yo, desperate to stay with his human, plans to remain human so no one can adopt him. Problem, if he stays human too long, his body pays the price. Then he meets a boy who's also a cat human. He asks for tips and the boy gives him an urban legend, garlic helps. Hong Yo stuffs himself with garlic and only ends up with a monumental stomachache. Result, Soleil finds him in bad shape and takes him to the vet again. The little kitty with glassy eyes looks at her as if saying, "You're my princess. I want to see you every morning." To avoid being a burden, Hong Yo looks for a job in human mode. He's hired at a restaurant. The boss, seeing him suffer for love, advances him part of his pay so he can buy a gift. On the way, Hong Yo meets a man who cares for abandoned cats and remembers that he, too, was once a sad stray. He has a wound in his soul that only heals when Soleil touches him. Between them there's a psychic connection that goes beyond logic. That's why, when Ye-sun shows up to take the cat away, Soleil tells him no. If she didn't like cats before, she admits this one is special. She confesses she likes him a little. She includes the kitty as a character in a comic she's drawing, and that inspiration pushes her to pursue her dream. She puts a lucky pendant on the little cat. Then the famous son of Bansal, Bang Kukbong, reappears. Sola goes into the room and sees long hair on the bed. She thinks Hong Yo slept with someone else and feels jealous without understanding why. Hong Yo confesses that he likes her, but she ignores him, thinking he's a womanizer. Obsessed with the mysterious girl, she tries to enter that room. He stops her and angers her even more. To keep up the charade, Hong Yo asks Soleil to record a video pretending to be the stepsister greeting Kukbong. She buys it. The plan works for a bit and Hong Yo refocuses on what matters, winning her over. As a cat, he overhears Ye-sun trying to flirt. "You look more beautiful every day." Hong Yo meows loudly to cut him off, and Ye-sun chases him to the storeroom. There, Hong Yo becomes human and confronts him. They're both ready to fight for Soleil, but it's obvious Ye-sun's love doesn't have the depth of Hong Yo's. Soleil finally opens her eyes. She deserves more than half-hearted affection. She leaves in tears. Ye-sun regrets it, but it's too late. Back at home, Soleil has a drink and staggers. She's about to hurt herself badly when Hong Yo appears and holds her. She doesn't notice, but he walks her to her door, acts as her pillow on the couch, and she, half asleep, hears the heartbeat of that cat-human heart. When Kukbong appears, Ye-sun finally realizes he isn't Hong Yo's stepbrother or anything of the sort. He's someone else. He goes straight to confront Hong Yo. "Who are you?" Soleil faints. Ye-sun is quicker and catches her. Hong Yo, burning with the desire to take her hand and enter her heart, seethes inside. He was born to protect her. Ye-sun demands to see Hong Yo's identification. If not, he'll call the police. Hong Yo, quick on his feet, runs to his room. By the time Ye-sun enters, there's no guy. There's only a cat. Ye-sun thinks he escaped through the window, but one idea keeps nagging at him. What if Hong Yo is the cat? He tells Soleil, who looks at the kitty and sees nothing strange. Hong Yo decides to lie low. However, he sees some wooden boards about to hit Soleil and transforms to stop them. Ye-sun sees him. There's no doubt now. He also notices the pendant he himself had given Soleil hanging around Hong Yo's neck. He asks how long he's been a cat. Hong Yo tells the truth. He doesn't know why he's like this, but he knows Soleil is his sorceress. Near her, he can become human. The whole pet and human thing falls short. What exists is a deep bond, almost heaven-sent. Sometimes they don't even speak. One look is enough for both their pulses to sync. But it's not all romance. Hong Yo is kidnapped by a man who locks him in a cage, practically a sick collector of cats. Soleil plasters the city with notices. To escape, Hong Yo turns human in front of the kidnapper, leaves him pale, and demands he free all the animals. The man, with his horrible ideas, says his dream is for there to be no cats on the streets. He tries to stab Hong Yo. Soleil enters upon hearing noises, and he turns back into a cat in a second. She hugs him, relieved. The man swears he'll catch him again. A lingering danger. Back home, Soleil scolds him for disappearing. Where were you? He can't tell the truth. Hurt, she rips open an old wound. In her life, the people she loves disappear, like her mother, who had cancer and hid it until the end. Why do I fall in love with someone who disappears like a cat? She asks, shattered. That night, Hong Yo invites her to the rooftop. They sit under the stars, hearts racing, and he confesses. He's not who he says he is. Bravely, he admits he's the boy from her dreams. They kiss. It's a kiss that doesn't fix everything, but it marks something definitive. The next day, she wakes up happy. She still hasn't tied up the last loose end, that her love is also her little kitty. Hong Yo, more in love by the day, crosses paths with a cat who transforms into an old woman. She speaks of love. She too loved a human, but her story remained unfinished because cats live shorter lives. She warns Hong Yo that he will get sick and die before Soleil. She advises him, never tell her you're human, say you are a cat. In other words, that love comes with an expiration date. Soleil notices Hong Yo plans to leave the city. She gets depressed. Cinderella got a kiss and was happy. I got one and it looks like everything is ending, she thinks. She asks for a full day before he goes. They take the train to visit her father and her mother, each with their own story. In the middle of the trip, Ye's son appears. Soleil had asked him to feed the cat, and he answers, the cat is here by my side. She looks at Hong Yo, thinking it's a cruel joke. When they get off the train, Hong Yo turns into a cat in front of Ye's son, who can no longer bear seeing Soleil suffer and decides to tell her everything. At first, she doesn't believe it. Then she remembers, she's never seen Hong Yo and the cat together. They always take turns. That detail, together with what she sees with her own eyes when he changes, leaves her frozen. When Hong Yo tries to touch her hand, she pulls it away, hurt and confused. She asks if he becomes human because of her. He nods. You're the sorceress. Her reaction is to throw him out of the house. Hong Yo ends up living with Ye's son, and Soleil enters a strange mourning. She can't forget him, but she also doesn't know how to be with a cat human. The sadness makes her ill. Hong Yo cares for her silently. She asks him when he used to transform, and he admits the sweetest truth, when you felt alone. He's her medicine. Soleil admits she's still lonely, and he hugs her with disarming tenderness. Then comes the blow. I don't have much time left. I'm a cat, I won't live like a human. They decide to make the most of every minute together. But Hong Yo's health begins to decline. He drinks coffee like crazy to avoid sleeping, because when he sleeps he becomes a cat and loses human hours. His goal is singular. Stay awake to be with her in the way they can embrace. Once you've tasted what it is to love, you never want to go back. Soleil introduces him to her friends. No one knows where he came from. In the middle of the gathering, his head nods, he falls asleep, and turns into a cat in front of everyone. Without giving explanations, Soleil picks him up and carries him away. The mysterious man from before shows up wanting to kidnap him to prove to the world that cat humans exist. In the fight, he pushes Soleil, tries to flee with Hong Yo. She jumps into the car, fights like a lioness, and forces him to stop. The man runs, but Hong Yo transforms, blocks his path, and tells him the truth. His obsession is an illness. He's a danger. Fired up, Soleil lands a tremendous blow and drops him to the ground. They return home with the kitty in their arms. A momentary victory. At the vet, the news is tough. Hong Yo's breathing is weak. Each transformation rips a piece of his soul away. He's fading because of love. Soleil quits her job to take care of him. They live bright days, hands seeking each other and worlds touching. When they hug, it's not just bodies. It's two universes promising eternity. Until, one day, he disappears. She searches for him desperately. She finds him, and he tells her he's going to spend a while as a cat. He gives her a collar as a symbol. I choose you as my human. I'm yours. He confesses he loves her more than his own life, and turns back into a cat. Time passes. Soleil keeps drawing her cat comic and becomes famous. She talks to him every day as if he could answer. One day, the wish comes true. Hong Yo appears in human form. She hugs him with contagious joy. They go to the river where they lived great moments, and he delivers the final news. This will be the last time he can be human. He's already used up his lives as a person. She doesn't want to believe it. She hugs him, kisses him as if she could stop the clock. He pulls away with gentle sadness and promises, even if I'm only a cat, I'll stay with you. Don't stop dreaming that we'll be together. They kiss one last time. It's a kiss with joy, with sorrow, and with a love that transcends. 2 years later, Soleil is a renowned writer. She signs books, greets crowds, but the noise doesn't distract her from what matters. At home, her kitty awaits. With him she recalls kisses, promises silences, and fills with warmth that little space no one else can fill. Even so, her heart keeps a void. She dreams of opening the door and finding him human, waiting with a smile. One day, she returns to the river for inspiration and asks herself if she's still in love. The answer is obvious. Yes. She enters her home like any other afternoon and hears a noise. She looks up and sees him, Hong Yo, standing there, in human form. They smile at each other as if the world fell into place. She welcomes him not only into her home, but into her life and into a future that may be short or long, but will be theirs. Hong Yo chose to stay. Weeks, months, or years, it doesn't matter. A second by her side is worth more than 10 years apart. That has a name: true love. If you made it this far, breathe, drink some water, and keep following me. More stories with the same vibe are on the way. And you already know. Like, subscribe, and check out the other recaps, they're really good.